Welcome to Smalltalk episode 18. I'm one of your co-hosts. My name is Ryan Camp. Thank you all so much for tuning in. This week, we're going to be taking a look at season 3, episodes 4, 5, and 6. And joining me, as always, first from 3D Movie Cinema and flipping me off for some reason.
Oh, I'm flipping Matt off. I'm flipping Matt off.
Jacob Collins, the always so eloquent Jacob Collins, and polite.
That's like, yeah, I'm doing great today. I'm ready to talk about 2 really good episodes and 1 bullshit episode called Relic.
Well, we'll cross those bridges in just a minute, but I got to introduce the other co-host of this show, Matt Wyatt. Matt, how are you?
I'm doing great, and I don't know what the fuck you've been smoking because I thought Relic was the better episode than the first episode. Who's a full? Hey, 3D Jacob is full of shit. That should be a new T-shirt of that fucking thing. The first one was like nothing but a filler and pointless.
Hopefully the Zoom will pick up on this, but Jacob's got a big old notepad that says "fuck you, Matt" on.
Now I wish I had a board with me so I can write that down.
Well, I know that Matt is serious about this recording because he's drinking ice cold water and he just took 2 icebreakers, so his breath is as frosty as the Antarctic.
Come on, let me freshen your breath.
Well, let's
look, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze. Oh, now.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Oh, you're gonna be like, I'm Mr. White Christmas. I'm Mr. Snow.
Cool party. It's a cold town. Allow me to break the ice.
Come on, louder, come on, sing.
Sing louder, sing. No, but let's
Now we gotta cut that clip in the damn episode.
Come on, sing. Louder, come on, sing.
It's like Ryan's like, I gotta put that clip down there. Shit.
Oh no, I was gonna put it in there anyway, so it's no skin off my nose. But let's dive into the episodes proper. Let's start off with season 3, episode 4, called Slumber.
Next Wednesday.
Your turn, Clark. On your own. I always said there should be nothing between us.
No, there's not.
Clark!
Life as you know it is over. An all-new Smallville event featuring the music of REM. Next week on the WB Wednesday.
Clark Kent has a strangely realistic nightmare with him being romantically involved with Lana. They skinny dip. Lex discovering his secret, and a girl called Sarah Conroy, because I guess Sarah Connor was taken from something, being chased by a weird red-robed creature called the Traveler, because Freddy Krueger was busy. When Clark wakes up, he learns that he was asleep for the last 36 consecutive hours. Clark finds that Sarah has just moved with her uncle and tutor, Nicholas Conroy, to the house next door that belongs to Lana. Intrigued by the situation, he visits Sarah with Lana, and Clark sees that the teenage girl has been in a coma for the past 6 years. Increasing the mystery, Clark decides that the solution is literally in his dreams. In Metropolis, Lionel demands that Lex take a psychological evaluation prior to increasing his work responsibilities, but for some unknown reason, Lex refuses. So I was kind of joking with the Freddy Krueger reference, but this episode is basically a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Honestly,
It's not far off. Did you know that the actress who is Sarah, she was in Freddy vs. Jason. Yeah, she was in Freddy vs. Jason.
It came out the same year this episode
same fucking
aired.
year.
I think she was the same year this episode aired.
How convenient.
And it was shot in this exact same location too.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to Catherine Isabel, who does play Sarah Conroy, and shout out to her. She was Ginger in the werewolf movie Ginger Snaps. So she's got a pretty good horror resume to her credit. But Jacob, what did you think of the episode?
I actually liked it. I thought it was a good episode, unlike this asshole over here named Rebel Matt, Nazi poster boy over here. So basically, I thought this episode was fantastic. And I like everything. I like everything going good for Clark. I did like that I like how it starts out like a Friday 13th movie where it then has that twist of like he's in a dream and everything, and how everything's going good for him. He's like, hey, my parents can afford something nice for me once. Hey, Lana likes me.
Are you sure it's not the skinny dipping that you like, and that's why you thought it was fantastic?
Well, not only that. I mean,
two things can be true at once. Boys can like Skinny dipping with chicks and nice cars. It is perfectly possible.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's what they market Playboy with: hot cars and naked women. I mean,
You know what? It felt like a culmination of Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street because they're in the fucking lake, at Camp Crystal Lake style.
I mean, they literally have a hand reaching out and pulling someone underwater. It's literally the ending of the first Friday the 13th.
Absolutely.
Also, that's a scene in Freddy versus Jason as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
It kind of reminded me also of the beginning of Evil Dead Rise. I don't know if you guys have seen that one.
Oh, yeah.
It, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did. I seen that. That was like the beginning. That was like the prologue.
That was like the prologue, yeah.
And then the big old title comes up out of the water. That's just a great
I mean,
title.
that was a great shot, but I didn't think that at the beginning of the movie was really necessary because they don't really mention them that much.
Didn't it
You
feel
could have
like
taken
an
them.
episode of Buffy rather than an episode of Smallville at the beginning? You're like, this does not feel like Superman to me.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, you
But,
feel like
but-
let's get into the horror episode. That's really what it really was.
But I did really I thought the Traveler's look was pretty creepy. I mean, it's obvious they were going
It
for
looks
a
like M.
Freddy
Night
Krueger.
Shyamalan's The Village look.
It does.
I mean, a little bit, but I still thought the look looked like really cool. Like I said,
He almost looked like a Dementor from the Harry Potter movie, Prisoner of Azkaban.
Or
With
it looks like-
except that it's red but not black.
It just looked to me as I was watching, going, this kind of reminds me of. It reminds me of something. Cue the Tobey Maguire clip.
similar.
Similar.
Familiar.
Very similar.
Familiar. It just reminded me of The Village. Like I'm like, I swear I've seen this look before in a movie, and I'm like, this is The Village. Like literally, they stole the design from The Village. Like
But
M.
The
Night
Village-
Shyamalan's watching, going, wait, this came out before the this came out before The Village.
I
So
mean,
M. Night
Shyamalan-
Shyamalan was probably watching Smallville, going,
I mean,
Well, you
speaking-
already know how CW was back then because they just like to take a lot of influences from pop culture movies.
oh
I mean-
yeah, M. Night Shyamalan. No, The Village came out after Smallville. This episode had aired, so M. Night Shyamalan probably saw this episode and was like, got my next movie.
Oh yeah, I
That
forgot
was-
when that movie. I forgot when that Village came out. It was like in 2004.
2004.
Yeah.
This episode
2004.
aired like in 2003. So M. Night Shyamalan was like,
Well,
I'm
we don't
gonna
know.
use that.
Well, we don't know when they went into production because we know they came out of that year. So
This
maybe.
this episode came out October 22nd, 2003, so this was effectively the Halloween episode.
Absolutely, yeah, that makes perfect
Smallville
sense.
on Elm Street.
Pretty much, yeah. I loved the I loved, like you were talking about, Jay, of how everything starts out so great, and then you got Lex doing the whole, this sword is from like from this Japanese legend, and he just swings it and the sword breaks, and I legit was like, it's too soon to reveal this. Something's clearly off.
It
But
was
I
way too
just-
good to be true, especially when Jonathan was bought the truck from Lex's money, an
Yeah.
expensive truck. Like, there's no way in hell that Jonathan would do anything like that. It's more of his worst fears and his wants and needs, and then also later it's showing his worst fear, his worst nightmare, and what he's afraid of.
Like Chloe taking down the wall of weird, and it'd have been funny if they had to have a moment where
Or
Chloe's
flunking history. Or flunking history.
Like, flunking. It'd have been funny if there was a moment where Chloe's like, Clark, I will no longer go after you and try to date you now. And then Clark goes, no, that's a damn dream because that shit's never gonna happen.
Yeah, he was like, whew. So relieved.
I had a dream that you actually were not being annoying this time. I'm like, oh, turns
But
out.
I will say in season 3, Chloe's getting better. She's not annoying. There's no love triangle in this.
They're actually reading what they probably looked at on chat rooms and were like, can you make Chloe a better character? And they're like, we're on it.
I bet Allison Mack was like, can you just stop making me a whiny bitch in this season?
I don't
Which-
ask for much, guys. Come on.
Which, I mean, I did like that. I did love Lex hitting that sword and Clark going like that. That looks so good. And you could see in 2003, that effect looked really good.
Oh yeah, it looked really good in CGI from the effects wise.
Because you didn't know where the sword started and where the sword became CGI.
Yeah. And I also love the when that truck flips. Like, there's something about the Kent family. They get anywhere near cars, it's just not going to end well for them. Like,
There's
Clark
always a
gets run
car
over
crash.
the
There's
episode.
always a trucks flying over. Practical.
Yeah.
Also,
But that car
there's-
crash was just excellent.
Also, they must have great insurance in that truck because almost every episode, that same truck is getting destroyed. Like, didn't we see 2 episodes in like the finale? That truck was upside down, and didn't we see like the truck get flipped over? Didn't the truck blow up at one point?
If I remember correctly, was that the red truck or a blue truck? I can't remember.
It
What the hell
was
was
it was the red truck. So
Yeah, it had to be the red truck. Yeah.
the season
It's
one.
like
Did they get that shit? Did they pay insurance to get it fucking repaired?
I
Clark
certainly
has
hope
been in our
so.
family for generations. I don't care if it gets blown up. We're getting it again.
All this scene needed was J.K. Simmons walking out there being like, "We've seen it all because we've seen it all. We are farmers." Bum ba dum bum bum bum.
Bum, 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 bum.
Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Oh my God, Ryan, add that in there. Add that after like the truck after the truck crashes. Just add like the J.K. Simmons voiceover of that scene.
Oh, you bet it's going in. You bet it's going in. Lex with the whole psychological eval thing. I don't know what to think about that just yet. It starts out with him like walking in on Lionel getting a massage. I'm like, is this just what happens with rich people? They just get massages in their office.
I mean, hey,
I
he's a
did like
billionaire.
that whole
He's Lionel
sequence,
Luthor. He can do whatever he wants. I mean, Lex does the same thing too. Remember in the first season, he's getting the massage in his office in the Luthor mansion.
Right.
Yeah, remember? Yeah. And how good looking that John Glover looked. He looked ripped in that fucking scene. Jesus. For a guy that age.
Yeah.
Like a fine wine.
Like a silver fox, man. But anyway, we're just gonna leave it there, right? We're just gonna leave that scene.
Yeah, we'll just leave it there.
Yeah,
Just
let's
leave it at
just,
that.
let's just move right along. But the twist with the uncle poisoning like the niece, it kind of reminded me talking about another Shyamalan movie, The Sixth Sense, where Haley Joel Osment learns that the little girl was basically killed slowly by her mom and poisoned in the food and all that.
I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that. It's been a while since I watched The Sixth Sense.
My Shyamalan movies, like, found our inspiration.
It looked like the writers took notes from Shyamalan's movie and took a lot of influences from that.
Also, this episode, I'm not gonna lie, here's the problem. This episode is a ripoff of a famous Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode, where a boy basically is in a coma and all the nightmares start happening. And I will say, I think that one is done better because you never make it clear if this is a nightmare world or if it's a dream, just a dream world where it has good and bad things. Because in the Buffy episode, it was this boy, because he's in a coma, all the nightmares are happening around this town. But in this episode, I'm just like, okay, how is Clark inceptioning her? Okay,
yeah, that's the one thing. Yeah, but that was the one thing that kept bothering me. And how did she manage to get into Clark's dreams and contacting him for a guy that she never met ever, like never met him in her entire life?
Yeah,
like that.
We were discussing last week how Christopher Nolan saw the bank robbery in Smallville, and I would not be shocked if he watched this episode and was like, "There's my next movie."
They can get it going after people's dreams. Yeah, he probably took notes.
I'm gonna put.
He took notes from Matrix, Smallville. You can name it.
Christopher Nolan, we know your secret now. You're not that talented.
We know your little secret. Okay.
I mean, the dude's gonna win Best Picture, hopefully. So I mean,
wouldn't surprise me.
We should put every time it's a great episode, just put Nolan approves. Nolan approves.
Nolan approves.
Nolan approves. But no, I actually do like this episode. I do like this. I do like this episode of where it does have a lot of cool things like Clark. I do think that I really hated the fact that Lana goes up there to see this man poisoning the daughter, and then she confronts him rather than calling 911.
No, what bothered me more was the fact that literally like 2 episodes ago, she roundhouse kicked a dude and then kicked a dude into like a
trophy case. The trophy case.
The trophy case, yes, but then killed the guy accidentally by roundhouse
inadvertently. Yeah, she inadvertently killed the guy with a fucking pitchfork.
But then
that was the last episode. That was like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, but she still she was the damsel in distress and she grabs him. She couldn't roundhouse kick the next dude, her uncle.
The writers never saw that episode, apparently. The writers of this episode never saw that episode. They were so busy with the horror aspect of it. They're like, should we really make Lana this character? Like,
can we just go back to making her the damsel in distress?
Wouldn't it make it better if that was Chloe? I mean, that would have made more sense if that was Chloe.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
And literally is like, all right, everybody was kung fu. Oh, she's already out. Okay. Well.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Also, this is 2003. How would he expect to get away with her murder? Because he's literally pouring gasoline on her car. They can trace that's arson. They're going to have investigators, and they're going to look at it. Especially, you think that female sheriff, I forget her name. What's her name? Sheriff Al Adams?
Man, I cannot remember off the top of my head.
Hang on, she's in one of these episodes. Nancy Adams, that's her name.
Sheriff Adams, you really think she's not going to like investigate the arson aspect of this? When they like, oh, I smell gasoline, then they're going to see a gasoline fire trail leading up to Lana's car saying, hey, somebody blew up this car. You know, obviously Clark will be the main suspect.
And also, why didn't he call the sheriff to search for his house to get a warrant to search the cabinet that he's keeping drugs that he's keeping her under?
Again,
and leaving no traces behind. Like, how the fuck is that possible? I mean, I'm no doctor or anything, but come on.
Again, this would have been easy of him to do this. There's this guy. He's drugging his kid and keeping her in a coma. Yeah. All right. And then just wait as he's about to drug her again. I know what you did, and then just hit him upside the head with a lamp.
I know what you did. Yeah,
last summer.
That's the one.
I was like, technically, he did do it last summer because.
I mean, there's another culmination. I know what you did last summer. There you go.
Also, I do like the scene with Lex and Lionel, like how Lionel's making Lex go to therapy. Like, and Lex is just trying to just blow his time away. Like, he's just like, so he's just talking about his art collection and all this stuff. And she's like, that's not how therapy works. You go there to get your issues worked out and everything. And I really like that aspect of it.
I like the whole aspect of him being in therapy when he's refusing to open up like his personal life instead of just discussing art ornaments.
And then he tells her at the end, I'm going to tell you things. I'm like, what are you going to tell her? Like, I go to BDSM clubs and get whipped with a chain. I'm like, what are you going to tell her? That's got to be a shock. Like, he's telling her like, oh, I'm going to tell you dark things. Like, one time I went to Tijuana, Mexico and watched a donkey show. Lex Luthor style. Like, what are you going to tell her that's going to make her scared? Like, that's what he's telling her all this stuff. Like, I'm going to tell you things it's going to make you cry. Like, what are you trying to build her up like you're Voldemort or something? You're Voldemort.
I've seen things that you would not believe.
I once went to a boarding school and I was the bald child. People kept mistaking me for Charlie Brown.
Or he's just afraid of opening up the things that he has dark shit that is too afraid to open up.
We're gonna find out.
I can't say too much. I can't say.
There is a fucked up episode about with Lex. And this season, that Ryan, you're gonna be like, honestly, Ryan, you're gonna be like, that is the most effed up thing I've ever seen on this show. It is so effed up. I'm like, I can't believe they did that. There's no way this is gonna be like a PG. This should be like an R-rated episode. That's how effed up this episode is.
I agree. It was dark as shit.
And you know what episode I'm talking about too, Matt.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Believe me, I would never forget it. And it was a pivotal moment with Lex's character between him and his father.
At the end, it's just so sad too. It's just so, the whole episode is just like, this is a sad, depressing episode, and it's so good. But at the end of it, it's like, I can see because the writers actually wrote this episode. They were like, the showrunners wrote this episode, and this is like, I think the showrunner even directed it too. Yeah, Miles Miller directed it.
Oh yeah, he did. It was Miles Miller.
Because they were talking about Topville last week. They said Miles Miller's directed this episode. And so he goes, I directed. He said, it is really good, though.
It was an amazing episode.
John Schneider directed an episode again.
Yeah, he did.
Well, we're going to be kicking that particular can down the road for the time being. Let's go to ratings for Slumber. Jacob, what do you got, 1 to 10?
I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10 now. I'm going to give this I would say a 7 is perfect for this. A 7.
All right, Matt, what about you?
It was decent. 7 out of 10 is the same with me. It's not perfect. I just think there's still a little bit of a downgrade of the episode for me.
You know what? I like the design of this villain so much, I'm gonna bump it up slightly. I'll go 7.5. It's definitely showing its homages to like Nightmare, Friday the 13th, among other things, but that's nowhere near a bad thing. I still thought the episode was intriguing. I liked the premise, I liked the execution. So definite step down from like the start of the season, but not like a nosedive. I still enjoyed it. But we get a
Also,
major
doesn't it feel like this episode is more shot like in almost like a wooded area in a way? Because most of the episodes are shot like in open fields and stuff like that. This is the only episode. It feels like the whole episode was shot like in like a forest or something. Because even like their driveway and stuff, it looks like something you'd see in Colorado or something like that. And I'm like, this episode, whoever directed this was like, we're gonna make it like it take place in New Jersey or something, because there's a lot of like, it doesn't look like a traditional Smallville episode where, oh, there's the Kent farm, there's over here. Instead, it's like, okay, we're gonna start like in like this wooded area, and then we're gonna show a lake, and then we're gonna start over here, and then Lana's house. Which, by the way, that doesn't look like Lana's house. We've seen Lana's house. I'm like, that is a new house that they're shooting at, because I'm like, when did Lana get trees that grew up in a wooded area?
That's a good point. The forest kind of reminded me of like the Cabin in the Woods, the one that Joss Whedon wrote that Chris Hemsworth was in.
Oh yeah.
It just reminded me. I'm not thinking like, whoever did this really designed this around a foresty episode. It's like I'm designing it this way.
But we roll on now to season 3, episode 5. We get introduced to a pretty important character in the Superman mythos. Let's talk about Perry.
About the meteor shower. The Perry White?
The two who are closest to Clark Kent will put a hero's identity on this. This is incredible.
It's also all true.
That's it, you're leaving. Until I have my story. Smallville, next Wednesday.
Clark's future boss of the Daily Planet shows up, Perry White. But this time around, he's a dirtbag reporter working for the tabloids. So yeah, we get introduced to Perry White in this episode, played by Michael McKean, who I know and love as Charles McGill from Better Call Saul. He was in This Is Spinal Tap. He was in a lot of Christopher Guest movies. He was Mr. Green in Clue. The dude has had a long career.
He's also in the Brady Bunch movie. He was the bad guy.
That's true, yes.
That's why I first was introduced to him in the Brady Bunch movie.
Yeah, I thought he looked familiar.
And also, he was in Casper Meets Wendy. Not Casper Meets Wendy, but no, Casper, The Spirited Beginning.
Mm.
That used to come on ABC Family every freaking Halloween. And he played the nutty guy who likes to blow up houses for fun. But he's actually married to Annette O'Toole in real life. Martha Kent.
That's true. Yeah, he is married to Anna O'Toole that played Martha Kent.
I'm sure that's how they got him in this episode.
Well, speaking of the episode, Jacob, what did you think?
I liked it. I thought this was the best episode of the 3. And, Ryan can suck an egg for that,
Me? Why?
What the fuck did I do wrong?
I mean, not you. I mean, Matt can suck an egg for that one. I'm so used to saying it to Ryan. I'm not very used to saying it to Matt. No, Ryan, you're cool this episode. Matt, you could suck an egg for all I care. Like on this.
Speaking of, Matt, what did you think?
Oh, I love this. I really did love this episode. It's my second favorite of the 3. I mean, I love that we get to meet like Perry White before he becomes the editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet. When he's just a drunk, washed-out reporter and tries and just meeting Clark for the first time and seeing him showed off his powers and getting suspicious of him. I was really into it.
I wasn't entirely sure how much I was gonna like this character, especially like when he meets Lana and like whips out the Time magazine cover with like poor like kid Lana like in the princess outfit watching her parents die. I was just like, I get it. The show is trying to make me like hate this guy before I like this guy, but it was done a little too well.
Note that I admire what he did and I hate it.
But the ship gets turned around and I eventually end up liking this character by the end. So I don't know. My relationship with this character is weird, but Michael McKean did a good job at just like he's weirdly hateable, which I assume was the goal. It's like the surgery was a success, but the patient died, I guess.
But he's a no good bastard for what he did.
Yeah, I like that he has backstory with Lionel Luthor. Like Lionel Luthor kind of ruined his career, and so now like he's like, and so I like how he tries to like he's the drunk now and everything, and so like he's trying to do a paper on Lana, to get back on top and everything. But
he was all about getting the story. He was all about doing whatever it takes because he's so washed up. He's writing the fucking tabloids. He lost his journalist career from fucking Lionel Luthor by giving him threats and blackmail because he had a lot of dirt on Lionel Luthor of his past, and that Lex is refusing to believe.
Also,
it's kind of funny that that Perry's newspaper is called X Styles. When the X-Files TV show wrapped up, I think sometime before Smallville got started, and Chloe says something along the lines of, "Oh, you lost your credibility with the truth around episode 2." I was like, is that a shot? Like, or I could be looking too deep into it.
Here's something funny. Today I was at the doctor's office, and then like this guy and this old man like in the 70s, his phone rang and the X-Files thing came up. And all I just was thinking was, is the truth out there? If you seen the X-Files, you get that reference.
Oh yeah, and the actor who plays Perry White, Michael McCain, this is not the first time he's been in a DC show with Superman. He's been in Lois and Clark with Dean Cain's Superman episode. I looked up on IMDb, and he was also in Coneheads.
Do we really?
Oh yes, he was. I do remember that
because I freaking love that movie. Because I was like, honestly, the first time I saw it was like 4 years ago. And I watched it. I own it on DVD just so I can watch it.
Donald R. DeChico. Hey, it's Donnie DeChico.
Chewing condoms. We chewing gum, and and Sinbad's like, "Hey, got a piece of gum?" And he has a condom. He's chewing condom. He goes, "No, I'm good. I'm good." It's just,
oh boy,
that's a funny freaking movie.
I mean, it's been a long time since I watched that film. I mean, I don't remember much of it, but I'm tempted to rewatch that film again.
Like he's like, "Do you want to cut the umbilical cord?" And then he bites the cord off. I could talk about Coneheads all day. That's a funny movie. Actually,
I can tell.
I'm gonna go watch that. I'm gonna go watch that this weekend. That's what I'm gonna do this weekend.
It really is a funny movie, yes. But there's another wrinkle in this episode with Clark through a solar flare not being able to use his powers. It's like it's kind of like where sometimes his powers aren't there at all, but then his powers go too much. So
yeah, one second he lost it, 1 second he's powerless, and next he's in an overdrive, according to Clark. And now we're starting to see. Now he's starting to understand the source of his powers, because they've always been curious, like, where did he get them? How did he get these abilities, and how did he inherit them? And now he's starting to realize that it came from the sun, and he's a walking solar battery, literally, not figuratively.
I do like how he's not trying to use his power, like how he just. I love how he speeds up and he goes to different states.
And he just like.
And he has to use the money in his bus to buy a bus.
The way he was just running, the moment he stopped speeding, he's like,
I was like,
I'm sorry, I could not take it seriously. It was just so funny. I could not keep a straight face. It was
I was laughing so hard at that. And then Jonathan's at the bus stop.
Or when the scene where he was trying to lift up the tractor and he fucking threw it fucking 30 feet in the air and conveniently hits near Perry White. How convenient was that?
Like, and they did this.
Your tractor just fell out of the sky. I explained it. Oh, it fell off a truck. It's not an explanation, it's a punchline.
He does this, he just goes.
Just dumps the fucking liquor from his fast.
That was funny. That was really
perfect.
I also like that how like whenever they're like just sitting there, he's just sitting there with a camera crew he hired to wait for Clark, and then Jonathan just drives away.
Because he was the decoy. He was using himself as a decoy. It's like, hey, you just fucking like laid his foot down, like get the fuck out of here.
Also, I do like how whenever Lex, she threatened, like whenever he tries to be a disgusting scumbag to Lana, she goes straight to Lex, and Lex is like, "I'll take care of him."
She goes crying to Lex, like, "Lex, he was harassing me. Can you get rid of him?"
Can you blame her though? I mean,
yeah, I get that. I get that. I mean, I feel like she just could have just like stood up to herself and not just like go to cry to someone to get rid of and drive him out of town.
Literally brought up this woman's like biggest childhood trauma in like this big old Time magazine cover. Like, yeah, I don't blame her for a second. The dude was scum for like half of this episode, and he got better, but he was scum.
I would have said, well, it's not my fault that you're wearing the meteorite that killed your dead parents.
Not anymore.
Yeah, she
not anymore.
Remember that Whitney destroyed it, or Tina Greer put on Clark, and then the ship destroyed it.
The ship destroyed it. Yeah.
But I will say though, I do like how Lex just manhandles him and then drives him to the edge of town.
He just dumps his luggage. He's dumping his fucking luggage,
and then hauls ass down the road in the opposite direction of where he just come from. Like, where is he going? Cow tipping? He went down a dirt road.
I mean, he might have went cow tipping.
I'm just saying, like, Lex is like going the opposite direction too. I'm like, what's Lex doing? He goes, like, Michael Roseman's gonna be like, I'm gonna go joyride. Wow, they said cut. I'm like, I can't hear you guys. That's like $100,000 Porsche, asshole. which I honestly, I'm like, why wouldn't you? I always thought that was kind of stupid. Alexa, just drop him. Why wouldn't you go bring him to like an airport or a bus station and make sure he gets on the bus or the plane and make sure he leaves?
It's established that Smallville has a bus depot. I mean, Lana dropped Whitney off there at the season 1 finale.
And Clark just got off of there in this episode.
Yeah,
that's true.
Why wouldn't he just like, drive him to the bus station? I'm sure you don't even have to pay for a bus. I'm sure Lex would. He'd pay for a ticket and says, "You better be on this bus if I ever see you in this." Like, I love how he threatens him, But I just feel like also like when he was still stayed in town, I would be like, I would just have him escorted. Like, I would have my security team. But yeah, Lex security team's a joke because every episode, like, his life's in danger at the mansion.
But there was a good moment when Lex was just having an episode psychotic break when he was about to snap, and because he's bringing up his past. Like, oh my God. And especially when he's trying to dig up dirt on Clark too, his best friend, it really triggered him.
I do like how he fakes the jump to his death and Clark has to save him, but he can't use his power, so Clark has to use
But now he was able to prove that he doesn't have powers from his point of view, if that makes any sense. Just to catches him off guard.
Yeah.
And that was that was more of an advantage if you're really thinking about it, because that cosmic that affected solar flare and affecting his abilities was kind of more of a plot device to avoid the suspicion that he's nothing anything special.
Wouldn't the rope break though? Because Clark is like on it, because he's still like it'd be like carrying a giant freaking safe.
I mean,
even though he couldn't use his powers, he can't. But he's like literally, if he would literally, it'd be like trying to drop a safe down and tell Perry White to climb up the safe, because Clark is literally like, he could get hit by a truck and then everything will be fine.
He was hit by a bus in one episode, and the bus was completely totaled.
Wouldn't the rope break?
I mean, it's a good theory. I mean, he literally is a Man of Steel, and Perry White is like Dad Bod Central. So it's like
Central.
Like, who wins? The Steel wins.
There's one thing that pissed me off though, is when Perry's like, "Oh, well, your son, I swear because your son, so I'm going to blackmail you so I can use your son." And I'm like, you were drinking, bro. You were drinking.
Yeah, they're not going to believe you.
And the EMTs even proved you were intoxicated. So go ahead, okay? Because guess what? Not only are you going to get some DUI, you're also going to, the second you go to a courthouse, no one's going to take your case, because they're going to prove you had it. First off, you committed DUI. And the second thing, you literally are claiming that a boy had superpowers and saved your life.
Yeah, not to mention, not only was he drunk, but he was talking on the phone and looking at a road atlas. You could not be more distracted as a driver.
All he had was something to eat. He should have something to eat too while he was doing it on. And then looking in the back as well. And then the smoking, had a cigarette.
Just smoking, having a brunch.
Just like, I mean, really, like, I think Clark could have won if he tried to sue them. Clark could win his case. Clark could win his case because Clark's
Definitely
like
not the case.
the only reason I'm like Clark, you shouldn't have done that because now he knows that fact. Like, because I think Perry's not stupid. Perry knows that like, oh, I know I'm in the wrong here, but they don't know, and that the fact that they're willing to show me around town means that they're hiding something.
But I did like the ending though, where Perry gets on the bus. He's a few hours sober. Is like we all know the ending of the story. I mean, he does become editor of the Daily Planet, basically the J. Jonah Jameson of sorts, to like a J. Jonah Jameson like in this universe.
Before J. Jonah was exist in Marvel because that was before DC did it first.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. And I kind of liked how at the end he was like, I read some of your stories. You buried the lead a little, but there's potential there. I'm like, I mean, well, we all know how that story's going to end. I mean, Clark's going to end up.
And also, he owes him. He's in debt. For saving his life and bringing him back to himself and actually not becoming a washed out journalist and actually go back to doing what he does best, becoming a good journalist and doing something right.
Planting them seeds for the future. But,
and that Walking in Memphis song, that was actually not the original song from the band, from the artist. That's what Michael Rosenbaum brought up in the Talkville episode. I was like, oh, until I had to listen to the original one. I was like, yeah, this is not the original song from Walking in Memphis.
Yeah, that was a cover by Lone Star, which actually that's a good song. I've been listening to it for a couple of days now. It was a good song. The Leonard Cohen one, the original.
The Leonard Cohen one, I actually really love the Leonard Cohen one.
Yeah, but the Lone Star one is good too. If you all ever want to like listen to a song that'll bring a tear to your eye, listen to "I'm Already There" by them. Like it'll just rip your heart out. But let's go to ratings. Jacob, what do you got, 1 to 10?
9.
Oh, that high. Nothing to add. Okay.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, I thought I was like a 9 out of 10 because I did like this episode. I just thought it had like it had humor. It had like a lot of witty stuff. Harry White was great in it. You had Lex Luthor being like edgy, and you had Lionel, and I like the therapist scene between him and Lex the therapist. I also liked this one actually I thought was just a good episode and everything. I thought it was just a 9. It wasn't great, perfect, but I mean I thought it was really good.
All right, Matt, what do you got?
I'm going a little bit higher as a 9.5. It's a really an enjoyable episode that I love. I love the introduction with Perry White, and when we start him off being an unlikable, washed out journalist, then Clark was able to help him come back to being what he does best and knowing the depths of his backstory, especially with the dirt that he had on the Luthor family with Lionel. And understanding the source of, and him, Clark, discovering the source of his powers, which I thought was such an incredible episode, especially with Lex and Perry. What another great, dark, emotional, like dark, intense scene. Like the episode gets better and better the more I watch it.
I'm gonna go 8.5, only because Perry is a little too much of a dick in the first half, and again he does get better, but he just grinded on me for a couple scenes. Still very well done. I'd love to see Michael McKean come back, and I have a feeling that that's going to happen, but overall very good episode. But let's close things out with easily the weirdest episode of this season,
and the worst.
And I say weirdest considering the fact that in the episodes that we've just been talking about just now, it has included tractors flying and a villain that invades people's dreams. It is season 3, episode 6, called Relic.
As much as I want this, I can't have it.
It's not fair.
I never thought I could feel this way about anyone.
Clark, what'd you say?
Smallville 1961, next week.
Clark has downloaded the memories of Jor-El to solve a case that is related to Lana Lang's relative. So
we didn't need.
So yeah, this is basically like a time travel episode, sort of, kind of.
And a comedy would be like an episode.
It's more like a memory lane episode. It's a memory lane episode exploring what from Jarrell's point of view, because he had that Kryptonian relic that can help him download all the memories, and more like a journal if you really think about it. So because we know that a different side of Jarrell that we haven't seen before. We saw the humanity of him, because Clark and the Kent family, they always see him as a monster.
Well, Jacob is chomping at the bit
And
to talk about
I'm sorry, I'm gonna defend the shit out of this.
Round 1, fight.
All right, you two lads fight. Jacob, go.
This episode's stupid, okay? The whole point of this shit, the whole point of this stupid ass episode is like they're just doing like the same shit comedies do during the whole thing. Like Boy Meets World did it, freaking Sweet Life of Zach and Cody did it. Like, do you know why this thing is
First of all, that's a little unfair to compare to those sitcom shows that they're not real. They weren't flashbacks to anything. They were fake. They were make believe that they
and that's why, because no one's gonna
this
take
is
this
nothing
shit
like
seriously.
compared to this.
No one's gonna take that shit seriously because they know people aren't gonna take that seriously. But this is like a show that's so good. It's like, why would you even do it? Why not cast older actors? That would make it better. Why would you cast Tom Welling to play his dad? I'm like, he looks nothing like Jarrell. We've seen Jarrell, okay? Which we haven't seen him. But I'm saying I'm like, if you look at Jarrell, look at Tom Welling, you're like, he looks nothing like him. I don't know why the fuck they did that in season 2. This is just stupid. This is utter bullshit. And on top of that, the whole point of like, oh, he fell in love with Lana, and so Jarrell fell in love with Lana's grandmother, meaning, oh, Clark and Lana would always meant to be together. It's basically saying fuck you to Lois Lane in the future, and I'm just like, oh wow. So I'm like, Lois Lane, I'm sure will appreciate that in the future because the fucking writers are trying to be like, see, Clark and Lana, they're always meant to be together. Clark and Lana, they're always meant to be together. And I'm like, you realize there's someone else coming in the future, right? You don't realize this shit. Like,
I think you're going a little bit of a too far stretch. It's not that they were meant to be together. Yeah, there's going to be some times that there just weren't meant to be. Even if they had been in love, chaos always happens around them. And apparently they weren't meant to be. If it weren't for her, fucking Louise getting killed off, Clark would never have been born in the first place and wouldn't have met Laura later in the years.
Okay, I'll give you that.
So Laura was literally the Lois Lane if you think about it.
But also, if you think about this, so basically in season 1,
it just wasn't meant to be. It just wasn't meant to.
But if you think about it, in season 1, he crashes there randomly in that field, and it's the Kents who miraculously find him. And it was like, and it's such a great moment because it's like they found him and he found them, and it's beautiful. But then it's like, okay, the Kents were always meant to find Lana Lang, not Lana Lang, sorry. The Kent was always meant to find the baby Kal-El. So basically saying as though, okay, well, this was always meant to be. Okay, so the Kents were miraculously going to be in this field at this exact same time on this exact day. Rather, okay, why don't you just send baby's Kal-El's coordinates to the fucking farm so that way it would make it easier rather than a field in the middle of nowhere? Because what if like, Pete Ross's dad would have been there, or what if Chloe Sullivan's dad would have been there? What if Lionel Luthor would have been there? It's just like there's so many things that's like, it just feels like, okay, it's basically it feels like they're trying to put something else in there, trying to make it seem like it's like when they did Amazing Spider-Man and how like they were trying to say, oh, Peter Parker was always meant to be bitten by Spider and become Spider-Man.
But the difference is like Clark Kent was always meant to be Superman. He was born to be Superman.
But he was not always meant
Peter
to be
Parker was never meant to be Spider-Man. He was just a fucking ordinary guy who happened to gotten bit and wasn't chosen destined to become the savior.
Clark was
destined to be Superman. So it's nothing compared to Spider-Man.
Well, they're trying to say is Clark's always meant to be a Kent. Like Clark, this was destined.
Well, yeah, because he chose the right family. Because he doesn't want to have the wrong family and being raised by awful parents. He met the Kent family and thought like this is the right kid for him. And
why did he send the coordinates to the Kent farm then?
I think the whole thing with the flashbacks, it kind of reminded me of Back to the Future's Part 2 and 3, where Robert Zemeckis cast like Michael J. Fox and Leah Thompson and Thomas who played Biff Tannen, I can't remember.
Oh man, I don't know.
But the actor
that always takes me out the movie too, because it's like I know that's Michael J. Fox. Just like when he playing his younger son and that movie Back to the Future, I'm like this Michael
getting the same actors to play their younger and older selves. Tom Wilson, that's the dude's name. But getting like Michael J. Fox, Crispin Glover, Leah Thompson, and Tom Wilson to play like younger and older versions of themselves. But at least in those movies, like there was makeup and stuff added to where like you can see it.
Yes, I will agree with that.
With this show, like they just threw a wig on.
They slicked his hair back and put another jacket on him.
They threw a wig on Kristen Kroik, and they just had like Tom Wellington.
Well, it's not very far off that you're one of your relatives to have the resemblance. Like I look like my dad at a younger age, so that's not too far of a stretch.
Not every single buddy looks like it's like, oh my god,
you never know. Hey, you never know. That stuff is very rare that your father or your son can look identical to another. It's not that far off. Like Patrick Schwarzenegger. Patrick is the second born son of Arnold. He literally almost looks exactly like his father. If he were like bigger, if that makes any sense.
I'm not surprised though.
I'd give that a pass. So I'm not like too bothered by it.
I was waiting in this episode for them to show a flashback with Lionel as a young guy, and it's just Michael Rosenbaum with a long wig on.
That would be funny. That would have been
an interesting look, to say the least.
He has hair now.
But the Luther stuff I thought was pretty intriguing. I know you all can't say anything. Just play the Mission Impossible clip right here and now. But
I can neither confirm nor deny details of any such operation without the Secretary's approval.
But I thought it was intriguing, especially learning about one of the other Lachlan Luther, I think.
Yeah, the Lachlan Luther. Yeah, that's the one.
I thought that was intriguing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
You know what? If you really want to see Michael Rosenbaum with a long wig on, just watch Sorority Boys.
Jesus!
Oh, yeah. If you want to see another wig on, watch Cursed.
Jesus!
He was wearing a wig. No, wait, what? No, wait, wasn't he wearing a wig? Oh, no, he grew his hair out. I can't remember.
Kurt, I think he was wearing a wig on Cursed, but he was wearing a woman's hair.
Oh, no, I did. Yeah, I saw that movie.
I was watching Inside of You with Jennifer Love Hewitt, like the episode there, and I'm just like, I'm so used to seeing Michael Rosenbaum bald that I see him with hair like every once in a while. I'm just like, between that, the glasses, and him sounding like Christian Harloff, it's just like he sounds like a completely different human being.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. Yeah, that makes sense. He kind of almost sounds like him.
You close your eyes, and maybe it's just because I watched a whole lot of Schmoes Know growing up, so like
you're not the only one. We all fucking watched the Schmoes Know with Christian.
He
looks like Dane Cook. He looks like a doppelganger of Dane Cook, bro.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. So maybe their just voices are just ingrained in my head, but like if I close my eyes and like think it's Michael Rosenbaum or Christian Harloff, I can't tell the difference.
He sits like in the same direction where on the Schmoes Knows where Christian Harloff used to sit, like in that side of the room. So every time I'm like looking, I'm like, he's wearing a hat like Christian Harloff. He's sitting wearing the same outfit, kind of like Christian Harloff, and he's sitting like in the same direction. And it sounds like
the only difference is that he's wearing glasses.
If it acts like a Harloff and talks like a Harloff, what is it?
All I know is that if
just imagine them in the same room together. Can you imagine?
Have you ever seen Christian Harloff and Michael Rosenbaum?
I don't think so.
In the same room. Are Michael Rosenbaum and Christian Harloff the same person? This week on Unsolved Mysteries.
But
we should probably put two photos of him and when we do that, just put
a side by side comparison photo.
Just to see if the audience is that like. But the only thing I did like, I also, by the way, Inside of You, still a better episode. Inside of You is still a better episode than this episode of Smallville.
I don't know what you've been smoking, but okay.
Well, I don't know what can of worms I'm opening, but let's go to ratings. Jacob, what do you have?
This is a 2 out of 10.
Oof. Matt?
I'm gonna give what did I give it a 9.5 for Perry, or did I give it a 9? I can't remember.
It was a 9.5.
Yeah, I think this is in the same rating. I know it's not perfect, but I will appreciate some of the stuff with the whole Jarrell flashback and on the pivotal moment with the McCann family being chosen and stuff. And because we know that Jarrell was one of the Kryptonian agent astronauts who came to Earth to discover this world and study it. It was a rite of passage for Jarrell.
You know what, Matt? I will say this, just because it's Christmas time. I will say I'm gonna give two things that I liked that were better. I thought that I thought the scene where Clark dresses up like his Jor-El and scares the cigarette smoking man from the X-Files and everything, I thought that was pretty cool. And I also thought the scene where Lex is talking to Lionel about his grandparents and everything, and Lex puts it all together that Lionel killed his grandparents. I thought that was pretty clever.
Oh yeah, when he was haunting him, like he's trying to get him to confess of what he had done.
That to me, I thought was great. I thought those two.
Oh, that was
Really
perfect. That was so
the whole
good.
Lex subplot with the grandma. I thought that was perfect.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We forgot about the Lionel. Now that Lex told him that Lionel's parents were not murdered, and he decides to let that whole thing go. That he had no resources of trying to get his own little bit of revenge on his parents.
Yeah, like if it acts like a duck and quacks like a duck, what is it, Lionel? But yeah, what would you rate it, Ryan?
I'm going to go 6.5. I think there's good stuff here, but again, it's just so weird. Like so many just like choices. I just like.
Another good moment when Jonathan was like, "Hey, every time I hear the word named Jor-El, it almost reminds me that we're not his birth parents. We're just the family that would just miraculously we're lucky enough to find him."
That was one of the best parts of the episode, unironically. Like John Schneider crushed it again. He always does, but he did it again. But
I'm sorry, wrong one.
That was second time. This is the second time you get the name wrong. Get the name wrong. Get the name right, pal.
But anyway, but I pass it off to all of you. What did you all think of these 3 episodes? Let us know in the comments. Love to read what you have to say.
Do you disagree with Jacob? Do you think he's out of his goddamn mind? Please let us know.
Oh, fuck you, Matt. Fuck you. Fuck you. And
let's put up a poll. Let's put up a poll. Do you think he's on crack?
Hashtag TJ. You know this episode shit. You know it is. And guess what? This is so bad and it's so terrible that Michael Rosenbaum's not even in the flashbacks because he didn't want to be in this piece of shit episode, really. He's only in the live action stuff that actually feels like an episode of Smallville.
Well, anyway, let's I pass it off to all of you. Comment below, let us know. Thank you all so much for the positive feedback that we received for our return last week. We did take a bit of a lengthy break for the Thanksgiving holiday, but we did return, and I'm so happy with how that episode came out. And I am so grateful to have these two. Crap! Like these two absolute pros and absolute gentlemen to recap this show with me, because like I said, I'm still very new to all of this, and you guys are super fans, and you guys really make this a whole lot better for me. So I do appreciate it. Jacob, you have a filthy mind, and
you filthy animal.
He's doing more.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
It's just basically, for context, I'm not saying what it is, but it's just me insulting Matt.
Is the viewers are that surprised by now?
Insulting Matt more, because guess what? My episode is the episode Slumber is 100 times better than.
But the people know that I'm right. That you're all wrong. You're wrong.
I even forgot what happened halfway through the episode. I was like, I told Ryan before we started, I don't remember. I know something about his grandparents, and I was like, I forgot because it was so boring. I would rather play Angry Birds on my phone than watch that episode.
Then I feel sorry for you.
On that note, Jacob, your channel link will be in the description. Do you have any videos coming up?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a whole video bashing Matt about this opinion on it. It's called Matt Why I Can Eat a Dick. That's
I will do a reaction video to that.
And Matt Wyatt, it's just gonna be me having just roasting this whole apart, saying this guy really thinks that this episode is great. What does he also think? Oh yeah, the musical episode of Buffy was genius. Like, come on, Matt. Really? I mean, it feels like sometimes his mind is like a mat.
And sometimes your mind is just fucking spiral.
Do you have any serious things that you would like?
I know, but no. In reality, which we're all just joking here.
We like to rip on each other. We don't take this shit seriously.
It's not like I'm not really gonna do a video.
We're not really gonna do it, guys. So don't be alarmed. Calm down.
So you will not.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
That video.
We're all friends here. We wouldn't.
We're just friends. We like to fuck with each other. We do that a lot.
Unless if y'all want to send some super chats my way, I mean, I'll consider making a video. I'll consider it. But other than that, no, I'm not gonna make a video. I'm not gonna make a video about that.
Just imagining them in the comment section like, you fucking bastards! How dare you?
No, I would just say, just be like, okay, Matt, M stands for moron, A stands for asshole, T stands for I don't know.
J stands for jackass.
T stands for T, baby. T stands for tough shit. Like tough shit. I don't know. But anyway, I was gonna say that I really like this episode. I don't like this episode at all because it sucks. And I have How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the original Boris Karloff one that by the time this airs will have dropped. And then the fall, which will be on a Tuesday. So then that Wednesday or Thursday, I will have Assassin's Creed Mirage dropping review for that game. And then that Friday, I will have another review, which I won't say. It's a mystery. Yeah.
And Jacob's channel will be in the description. Matt, your link tree, as always, will be in the description. You just dropped a video on the Terminator, and just one of the best thumbnails I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you're so. Yeah, I had to do it. I had to put the shades on, bro.
It's so good.
Oh, you're so original, Matt. Oh, congratulations. Oh,
I know.
Not like every other YouTuber has done the same fucking thing when a Terminator movie comes out.
Hey, I'm representing Terminator, bro. I had to.
This is Terminator 1, guys. Terminator 2.
3D.
Terminator 3.
Terminator
this is Salvation
3.
now. Fake robot eye. This is Terminator 5.
If only they had a Terminator filter, that would have been dope.
Anyway, yeah, I actually really like the first Terminator. I think that to me is really good.
Oh, dude, it's peak cinema, bro. I just went full in depth with that video, and I was able to add some of the audio with the clips without getting copyright claims or strikes. I was like, whew.
Very nice indeed. But
very nice.
By the way, Matt said his favorite movie is Terminator Genesis.
No, it's not.
No, it's called Genesis.
It's called Jenna shit, fellas. Jenna.
Well, hey, you're insulting Matt's favorite movie, okay? Come on.
Like, fuck you. It's my favorite movie.
He loves the fact that they bring Matt Smith in for no reason other than to have him set up for that movie that's never gonna happen.
For no fucking reason.
They set up Doctor Who for no reason other than just for
You're like, oh yeah, it's the guy from Doctor Who.
Hey, it's Matt Smith, and he's in this movie for like 10 seconds. They even did a cover of him on the cover of Entertainment Weekly.
I remember that.
I have that issue in my closet.
You literally had that issue? Oh,
and I'm just like, what is his role? And then it's 3 seconds long. And I'm just like,
oh Jesus!
You better save that. It might be worth something one day.
You never know.
And I should get Matt Smith to sign it. I'm like, Matt Smith, what was worse, your role in Terminator Genesis or your role in Morbius? Thoughts. He just gets up and walks away.
Just watch him walk out.
Security comes over. Come with us, sir. Come with us.
This is all right. So this is all lost stuff, but this is like, all right. So last year at the House of the Dragon Comic Con panel, someone asked him, would Milo from Morbius survive in the Westeros? And then someone said it's Morbin time, and he got so angry about that because he hated the fact that people were dogging on Morbius. He goes, I don't appreciate nor am I amused by, he said, your comments, sir. And then, so basically, and then someone mentioned, what about the Doctor? Oh, well, Doctor Who would do fine out there in Westeros.
He knows where his bread is buttered, but all of those links will be in the description.
Yeah, and if you go subscribe to my channel is already growing. I grew like over like hundreds of subscribers so far. Like, geez, it was a lot more than I anticipated, especially with the Godzilla -1 review that just reached like 4.4K. Like, fuck, dude. It's
don't lie. Your review reached -1.
Yeah, it probably did.
Yeah, but Matt's channel's growing like a weed, so give him a subscribe. He does deserve it.
I definitely
it's a really good
appreciate your
channel.
guys' support. It's been a privilege, bro. I love talking about movies. I'm very passionate about it, and doing with you guys, even though we talk shit.
I mean, hey, that's part of the fun of it. After all,
I know we got to spice it up.
But
Matt
as
says
for
he's gonna
this
start
channel,
an OnlyFans called Shit Talk.
That's the one that should be called that shit talk.
but as for this channel goes, Christmania 2023 is in full swing. I've been having a fun time talking about some very weird, some weird Christmas movies like Susan Slept Here, where Dick Powell is a 35-year-old and Debbie Reynolds is a 17-year-old, and they're supposed to be a couple. Yes, really.
Oh boy, that actually happened.
It makes it even worse when you know that Debbie Reynolds was 20 in real life and Dick Powell was 55.
I'm just relieved they got away with it. I'm just so surprised. I'm surprised they got away with that.
There's a Jennifer Gardner movie that just came out on Netflix. It's called like the Christmas Switch or whatever, or the Switch, whatever it's called. The Family Switch, whatever.
Oh, the Family Switch?
Yeah, it's with the girl from Wednesday, and it's like Jennifer Gardner and the dude from The Hangover.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Oh,
and so there's a scene,
I have not seen it.
There's a scene. I'm not gonna spoil, but there's a scene in the movie where, because the brother and the sister go into the mom and the dad, okay, and the mom and dad become the brother and sister. So they're a couple, and they're having like this thing, and then the brother and sister are the mom and dad. They haven't switched back yet, and so they have to kiss because they're like, hey, and then they're just. And it's the brother and sister that are in the mom and dad's body, and they're just like, I'm just like, oh god, it's just like, this is the most weird thing. Now people are mad because they're like, oh, it's promoting Netflix is promoting incest again. I'm like, to be fair, I don't think that's. I'm just like, it's cringe, but it's not. It's
well, on that happy note, that the Christmania will be continuing throughout the month up until the 25th. Smallville is continuing every Tuesday throughout the rest of the year, and well, as long as we got Smallville to talk about, because we got 10 seasons total. We've got 7 whole ones left, so we're going to be around a while, and I'm thankful for it.
Bro, season 3 will fly by so quickly because it's so good.
Yeah,
season 4 is really good too.
Oh, even the fourth season flew by quick. When I binge watched that 4th season, that flew by quick.
I mean, I will say, once you get to season 6, then you're gonna feel you're gonna feel like a little bit of a drag. You're gonna feel a little bit of a drag.
There's gonna be a little bit of a drag, and you're gonna be very frustrated. And there's still gonna be some great shit in the main story. I will
say the Lana storyline in 6 is probably my least favorite storyline ever.
It's the most frustrating and irritating storyline.
I just want to do this when I'm watching that storyline in season 6. I'm like, like, come on. I'm like, she was such
the way you're moving close up to that camera and you're doing this, like, what the hell is going on?
Sorry, my computer was really excited.
I'm sorry, I just got like
season 6 is a little ways off. So
season 6 what Matt does to this episode of Relic.
No, God.
No, season 6 actually is a good episode season, but Lana has the worst storyline in season 6.
Oh yeah, we can both agree on that.
Chloe has a better storyline in season 6 than Lana.
That's true. How fucked up is that?
But we just have a couple more episodes left of Smalltalk for the rest of 2023. Then it's into 2024. 2024 is going to be my biggest year on this channel, so I'm so looking forward to that, and I'm thankful to have these two guys here along for the ride with me. For Matt Wyatt, for Jacob Collins, my name is Ryan Cam. We will see you all in the next one. For truth, for justice, for the American way. Y'all take care.